of this game. And that was a pain in the ass too. I would have preferred that they actually put them in the game, but I know why that happened. That they had to postpone it for release reasons and shit. But I could see there being a re-release, and they'll have all the episodes probably in the game. Still a standalone, but implemented into the game from the main game, not the main menu of the game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure we'll see that eventually, because it's gonna get a re-release. This game will definitely get a re-release. Only because of the fact that it's pretty much got a name as big as Final Fantasy 1, and it has a similar story to it as well. You know, the franchise is about to go under prior to this game. 13 was sort of, no offense to 13 fans out there, I'm not a huge fan of 13, but it wasn't terrible. I wasn't a big fan of it. Didn't like the fact that there was a lot of things I didn't like about it. There were a lot of things I did like about it, but a lot of things I did not like about it. I just want to stress that. I did not like the fact that we had an old man pedophile priest guy as a main villain. That just didn't bode well with me. Didn't like it. I didn't need the Pope to be an antagonist. Until later we find out it's actually Bunavel's. Well, Bunavel's who's actually the main villain, but technically in 13, the main antagonist is an old dude who turns out to be a big gigantic fucking box man. A big box. It's a big, I don't know what he was. He was a big fucking box, like a big box with a bunch of hands and teeth and shit.
We'll meet again.
A big talking box. A big block big block monster. Bartandos. But first he was an old man. I don't know why he chooses the guise of an old man, which is interesting. Geisley or Daisley or whatever. But I really felt that Jill Nabar or Yag Roche could have played a better villain or antagonist, in fact. Not fucking Daisley. Jesus. I mean, Daisley? Why would they make him the antagonist with the freaking Rook and the Minerva thing following the party around? He like pretty much fits the pedophile profile. The pedophile Pope. It probably was the worst antagonist I've ever seen in a Final Fantasy. No offense. Now, as a story as a whole, Final Fantasy 13 isn't bad. In fact, it's pretty unique. I think going into a place like Cocoon and shit, that's pretty wild. It was just a big letdown that you couldn't actually explore such a unique ecosystem. Just imagine yourself in a cocoon, you know, where the sky is in... Think of the world, right? But inside out. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I'd love to see that. I think the concept of 13 was fucking awesome. I just think a lot of the way they did it, executed it, was terrible. Way worse than the way they executed 15. 15 definitely had its struggles, and it still definitely has a scattered story, but overall, it's got a pretty solid experience. And I'm not lying. I mean, there's numerous cutscenes that are 10 times better, or much more memorable than I can ever recall for 13. And that's just being honest. For example, I don't think 13 has anywhere close to a scene with Daisley where Arden reveals himself. For a spoiler alert real quick, I will, real quick just want to say, multiple scenes. I mean, this game introduced probably one of the better antagonists in the entire franchise. So, I have to even put him up there with Kefka, because at least they actually explain his backstory, whereas Kefka, they didn't. I mean, I know it, but you actually have to look it up in the Ultimania, and he's also a poor sob that got fucked. He lost his psyche due to an experiment. He wasn't just a psychotic, nihilistic bastard. He was actually an Empire devotee. He was devoted Imperial. pretty smart guy who had somewhat of like a relationship and a student with Celeste share from Final Fantasy VI, and that's why I know for a fact that Celeste is the protagonist of the game, and Terra is sort of like the, I guess I don't know, the eyes of the group. You know, Terra is like, how do I put it? Is like you know, is like the person playing. Just like Vivi or Vaughn, Ratsbane. You know, like, they always have an avatar character. And I guess they utilized Terra as that person. But as the story develops, if you really pay attention, you'll realize, well, yeah, it's definitely, it's obviously Celeste. If Kefka's the antagonist, then obviously Celeste has to be the protagonist, because who would be the foil to Kefka? That would be the protagonist. Am I wrong, or am I wrong? I'm pretty sure I am right. I don't think I'm wrong. If it's the, you know, the protagonist and the antagonist. Like, for example, the antagonist in this game is obviously Arden, but that doesn't mean he's the primary villain, because he's not. And I'm not gonna say who the primary villain is, but he's not the primary villain. He's not the big bad, let's put it that way. Like Kuja is another example of antagonist, but not the big bad. Big bads are not really antagonists, they're generally just the big bad. Simply putting that they're the big time scumbags that are the reason why things are so fucked up. Or generally just are scumbags, you know, who do fucked up things. Or have fucked up methods. In this game is very similar to 9, I'll just say that much. That's all I'll say. So if you played 9, then you may know I'm getting at.
No big deal.
Always try to get AP, it's always quick to do this. You could try to aim for finesse, but I'm not gonna bother right now. Just kill these fuckers. So see how like the tech bar fills up? Ooh, get out of there. The tech bar fills, you just simply go by the tech bar. Potions, you can use them anytime you need to, unless somebody's in danger, then they can't use items. Just remember that. I've just been utilizing the system and it's been working a lot better. I've had a much better experience overall, all around so far. It's been so much better than any other playthrough I've ever had. I mean, hands down. And also knowing that each character is kind of basically like a different chapter, and knowing when to start them has also helped a shit ton. Knowing that they give you way too much experience is something really helpful, because I don't want to be over leveled. I want to have a challenge. I kind of examined that, you know, they give you tons of XP, but realistically they don't give you enough AP. Like, for example, there are things that cost tons of fucking AP that realistically need to be opened sooner. If they would have scaled the levels right, which you can do now, they give you the option. Accessory slots, for example, 333. Now, there are quick ways we can go about doing this. One of the best ways, though, is just to fish. Just grab this. You can catch tide groupers. That's what I got. I did get the ability. And the reason I got it, this ability here, where is it? I would highly recommend getting it this way. Because sport fishing will then make fishing not just give you 1 AP every fucking time. You can get up to like 13 AP. So it's definitely worth it. I mean, that's a lot of AP. Or you can then waste your time in fucking Weaver Wilds and warp kill saber tusks, but I would rather, for a measly 1 AP, I think I would rather not do that. I'd rather go ahead and just fish, you know, to get a whopping 13 or at least 6 AP per shot. It's just better. I think we have to go to Overlook over here. The Overlook overlooks the entire. There's another Overlook over that way, but that's not where we have to go. It's over here. I love Aranea though. She is awesome. Is also considered the 3rd or 4th boss, major boss. Because Deadeye is weird. Deadeye is definitely considered a major boss, but all major bosses, by the way, all have photographs, if you hadn't noticed. Like, look what we got. Surprise, surprise. I don't care.
You're on fire today. What can I say?
You know what really helps if you do want to get link strikes, though? Use Star Shell. Disorientation is helpful. Bosses, though, are immune to it, so don't expect it to work. But they get disoriented, and it really helps. Watch. See? Shield Bash, Link Strike. But it missed, and that's sometimes you have to worry about. So Link Strikes are interesting because there's a lot of different Link Strikes that have a lot of different effects. I'm making a list as we speak right now. I'm not finished with it, but one particular out of the 32 Link Strikes that there are, which is a fucking big number, there's different hit rates, there's different critical rates, there's different break rates. Generally, the damage modifier, though, is the same. Damage modifier is 1.5, but different weapon damage types. So there's tons and tons of different outcomes. For example, there's a lot of link shots. The most powerful ones that you can get is using Prompto's. Like for example, here's an interesting one. Prompto's Overload Link Strike, right? He has an Overload blind-sided Link Strike, which his machinery overloads his energy, like basically recoil. It inflicts burn status, and can also inflict burn status to people around you. There's also another thing with Prompto where you can inflict stop with using a spear.
Find the base commander and take him into custody.
So definitely learn about blind sides, and you can also invulnerable to damage during a blind strike.
Into 2 groups of 2. Prompto and
Important to know
will generate a diversion
for well, combat.
Knocked? Are you prepared?
It helps a lot when you're fighting really hard enemies. If you've seen any of my other videos, I went up against really powerful foes, and blind sides helped me so much, and techniques. But blindside strikes, link strikes, they help so much because you get invulnerability for about, I don't know, a couple of, well, I know for a link strike, you get it during the interim of the link strike. Same thing for Tempest. But for techniques, it's only during the onset of the technique, not during the offset. So at the beginning of the technique, not during the finish. But at the beginning of the technique, you are invulnerable to damage. Anyway, I've been blabbering. We are going up against Aranea Highwind, considered the 3rd major boss in the game. So, without further ado, let's begin the infiltration on Fort Vlore.
Operation to catch a commander is go.
Yeah, but we're gonna be meeting with not a commander, but a commodore. Well, we're gonna catch the commander, but that guy's a fucking idiot. He's like a goblin. He's a goblin douchebag. What does that impudent stewardess think he's up to anyway? Blah 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 blah. That chancellor. What is games that chancellor playing at? That impudent. I may have acted in haste with that impudent.
Insolence of that
Watch.
mercenary. And there is
He's such an
still
idiot.
no word. This cannot be borne.
Such behavior besmirches his Radiant's good name.
That's our target.
He sounds like a typical fucking Imperial-born asswipe. Similar to Commander Loki Tumult. Now, I never really succeed at this when I have to do all 5 of them in one shot. I just don't. I generally get caught. I don't get caught. Sometimes I do get caught, not gonna lie. I hate this shit.
What is that Chancellor
They're playing at
I'm no man's fool.
Man's Fool. He sent Highway to watch me. He doesn't give a shit about you, Caligo. He doesn't give a shit about anything, bro. He wants everybody to fucking die. I can't blame the guy. But let's just remember, they're both, you know, they're both being sacrificed here, so. And that's not really a spoiler, that's just common sense. If you don't know that Noctis has to give up his life, then you are, like, really naive. The most naive person I've ever met. I'm sorry, but it's true.
It's no mere coincidence she and I meet wherever I go. Claims to trust her as a person.
I am so
Hollow words
nervous
from
right
the mind
now.
behind the Magitech movement.
Well, I know you live in the Stone Age, but not everybody does. Alright, where am I right now? What am I doing right now? I hate this part of the game. I just don't like it. I get all fucking freaked out, like. I get wigged out, like, really do. I do not like it. Well, because sometimes I get mixed with the warp points from the, warp kills. And it gets me all confused. Oh, real quick, let's just prepare ourselves, because we're gonna really just... There isn't much of a base here. You're just gonna follow this dipshit, and then we get right into battle. So, I recommend setting up our, gear. For example, take Ignis's, casual outfit, since Aranea doesn't inflict status effects. And... well, I don't know what you have equipped. I mean, I have it equipped, so I'm gonna take it off. I recommend just going with this, because I'm gonna have him using ice attacks, and therefore I'm gonna take off Fencer's anklet. I'm gonna put the Oracle ring on, Oracle earring, which makes him 391. Curse Cast Blizzaga, because she is accompanied with Imperial soldiers and, you know, MTs. You can use a Blaze Fire Saber, it's fine if you have it. I kind of banned out the Ragnarok though. I banned that out because of the overpoweredness of it. It's too powerful. So I banned that weapon, and I well, I restricted some things. Ragnarok is restrict, and so is, unless you're using it to farm for AP, but it's a shitty way to farm for AP. Going into lead and killing, it's just retarded. Just fish, you'll get a lot more. What do you call it? The only two things that are really banned here are Ragnarok and the Mutant Rakshasa Blade. It's not really banned, it's just that you can't use it yet. You can't use it until the specific episode has been completed. So basically you can't use it until chapter 14. Alright, so for Ignis, because of our either regroup or overwhelm, probably gonna go with regroup, because it not only helps with healing as well as putting up protect for everybody, stalwart, but it also aligns everybody in position, which is an important thing for striking enemies and such, is position. Position is very important when it comes to rescuing people, everything. So that's why regroup is invaluable. So definitely regroup is definitely a viable option, and overwhelm is good too. Cullis is useless. Mithril knives. Curse Cast Blizzaga is good because frozen affects Aranea, but she's immune to everything else. Is susceptible to stop. In fact, she's actually weak to stop, but more often than not, you'll end up getting yourself stopped, and you'll just fuck yourself. try. I just wouldn't do it. You'll be better off not doing it. It's not worth it. But Frozen, however, that's worth it. We'll set everybody else up
I
later.
may have acted in haste with that impudent steward back in the Stalaman, but my mission remains clear.
If you have Impulse for
And
Gladio,
I'll be
that's pretty good.
damned if that mercenary gets her grubby hands on the prince before Caligo.
I always
Baldo.
think what do you call it? Star Shell or Piercer for Prompto. Generally, Prompto I keep him in the one slot, going by a 1, 2, 3. Basically, he has the level 1 tech set, and then I have Ignis set with the level 2 tech, and I have Gladiolus set with the level 3 tech. Just to have some, you know, I like doing it like that. It's kind of cool. Just feels evened out. Let's go over here to follow this dude over here. Iggy. We're ahead of the douchebag now. He is walking this way. We actually have to go over there when he comes. Warp point, baby. So this like red stuff here is apparently, you know, created by the same means as the wall of
I'll
over
give
Insomnia.
Highwind one last chance to respond.
Who, the hot girl with the big breasts?
If the
Who's like
Commodore
so hot?
send her through.
You probably want a boner, don't you, Caligo? You totally want a bone, Aranea. Highwind. That's all you're thinking about right now is boning the fair-skinned girl with the big breasts, with the melons, right? Yeah, yeah, you are, Caligo. Thinking about the fair maiden with the big old melons. All right, then we gotta just basically rush up on him.
Now's your chance, Noct.
Wait till there's a
Closing from
signal.
behind.
Boom, got him. Simple and no muss, no
You're
fuss.
in fine form. Keep it up.
Yeah, Aranea is awesome though. She's a
Looks
cool
like we've set
character,
to
I
work.
like in general.
Let's escort him off the base.
Alright, time to get to action. Or get to work, I should say.
Guess it's time to let loose.
Now I hope I don't freeze up like I did last time. I started freezing up with the Aranea fight because it, like most big time, like most major bosses, there's like very cinematic. You know, like Titan, very cinematic. Leviathan, very cinematic. Again, Aranea, very cinematic. Specifically her technique of Highwind and her airborne assaults when you tackle her in the sky. I'll talk about it in a second.
Let's move.
Don't worry about it, Ignis. We're fucking fine, man. Let's go this way. You're the one crouched down like a dipshit. I'm the one running to do all the work here. See, look. What are you doing? Sitting on your ass? Yeah, you are. And phasing is great. We gotta get away from those. Those are gonna blow up, so you don't wanna. See? As long as you can get phasing, then it should be good. Oh wait. Damn, how did they miss that? How'd that happen, man? Come on. It wasn't supposed to happen. Oh no. Jesus Christ. Potion. But you gotta fight him alone because we don't have Ignis. We can break this thing just like. And also, like I said, Tempest would make you invulnerable, but sometimes Great Swords can be sloppy. Meaning, you know, they're slow. So I did not get a good finesse. Because I kept fucking that up. Great Swords are interesting though. I definitely say great swords, all weapons in general, other than the swords, take some getting used to in terms of using. Daggers, they're not easy to use. Spears are also something you're gonna have to get used to, but it's worth it. But don't use a spear against Aranea because it's pointless. You're basically fighting her with her forte. That's what she specializes in. That would be ridiculously stupid. I would primarily just fight her with your sword. That's probably your best bet. Because of her immunity to pretty much every element. And the only way you can inflict stop on her other than the stop cast would be with the blindside link through spears. And unfortunately that's just not gonna happen. It's not going to happen. I repeat, it's not gonna happen. If it does, you are the luckiest motherfucker in the world. Because in order for it to link, for it to click, the actual spear has to hit the target. If the spear doesn't hit the target, then they will not be inflicted with stop. That's just how the link strike works. Like, even if Prompto's attack goes through, if the spear does not go through, they will not be inflicted with stop. That's a link strike with spears and Prompto's gun, I believe. Yes, it is. Because Prompto hardly ever misses. That's the good thing about the guns. He'll always hit. Guaranteed success rate on his hit rate. And also has a higher crit rate than most. Generally, stick the Blade of the Mystic. That's what I do. Alright, now we're gonna fight another MA unit. And meet up with the rest of the guys. And that's why I like to have... we could maybe... I'm hoping... Friendship Band, give it to Prompto. Because he's the furthest from Noctis. Definitely want to get those. Friendship Bands are fucking amazing. Because, believe it or not, Prompto is the furthest from Noctis. And link strikes are determined. Blindsides and links... all specialized strikes, all link strikes, blindside links, and regular links, parry links, they're all determined by distance, and that distance is increased, and likelihood of percentage while wearing a friendship band, and the distance determines the percentage and likelihood of who will you know, come in for a link strike. A little thing before we fight the Aranea is I just want to let you guys know, if you don't know, I don't know if you are aware of this, but for those of you who might want to try out the rescue alternative instead of using items all the time, there is a way to increase the likelihood of your characters rescuing other characters. It doesn't say it outright, but obtaining first aid and advanced first aid actually also increases the percentage of their the likelihood they will actually rescue each other. It's unfortunate that they don't tell you that, but it is true. So when you get a character to expert first aid, they will also be an expert at, rescuing allies in danger state. In other words, they'll be very reliable. Right now, Ignis is somewhat reliable in reviving others in danger. Gladiolus is reliable. Prompto is reliable. And you'll notice the difference too when you obtain them. And in order of closeness to Noctis, it's obviously Prompto's furthest, Ignis is closest, Gladio is in the middle. but will come to Noct if you use Royal Guard, will run right towards near him, so. And thus, regroup will also help with the link strikes as well, because of the fact that you will form up. Forming up will have you all basically rally up together, back to back, and regroup is regroup. And it is this game's version of Protect, as well as Cure, you know. It is the game's version of Cure or Wall or whatever. Regroup is the healing of this game.
So we'll just stay
Alright, so we're gonna have to fight this thing. It's similar to like when we fought the commander in the beginning of the game. It is weak to... we could use greatswords, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna use greatswords. Let's do it. Gear on Prompto. Gonna go with the recoil is great on machines. It's a pistol, unfortunately, but the gravity well utilizes the magic stat, so it's fine. Oh no! What the? Oh shit! I missed it. So that's another one too. He's invulnerable. That I think I don't know. Ba 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 ba. I love that. During that Tempest sweep, you're also invulnerable to damage. And also during a full thrust. Move away from that. During a full thrust, you're also, actually I'm not sure about the full thrust.
Glad to see you lot were successful.
Believe it or not.
Does that mean you weren't?
I placed our captive into the hunter's custody, but I've just been informed he's fled. He lives
Greatswords
to
are the
die
best,
another
though.
day.
And I'll gladly help him with that.
As long as, because they have the potential to do the highest damage link strikes, especially with Prompto. The, what do you call it? The swap shot thing, the swap shot link. I call it the swap and drop. Because basically they swap weapons and then they drop down on the enemy and shoot. And, well, yeah, they get the drop on them. It's pretty cool, actually. They swap weapons using a greatsword, and Noctis uses the gun, and Prompto uses the greatsword, and it's just fucking... it does a good amount of damage. As well as, not to mention, it does firearm damage, and it does greatsword damage. And has high crit rate. Shield Bish is also a good one for breakage. Alright, anyway, so we're doing Aranea. Aranea is about to appear now. Let's get everybody formed up. So again, I'm going to use Star Shell because we're going to be accompanied by MTs, and they could be a little bit of an annoyance. I'm going to stick with Impulse for Gladiol. However, I'll probably change. Yeah, I'll probably keep him with what he's got, I guess. Yeah, he's fine, and he's already set, so we're good. Blizzaga. I keep him in charge of spells mainly. And for him, well, do whatever you feel like doing, really, for Noctis. I mean, I'm not restricting you to do, do what you want, I mean, I just recommend using a sword because it's the most comfortable, but whatever you think is best. But she is really fast, so just keep that in mind, and you can't pull off, it's impossible to pull off link strikes with daggers, so you might just be safe to use swords. That's probably your best bet. It's gonna be hard to blindside her anyway, but blinking might not be so bad. Anyway, here's to hoping I don't freeze up, because she's pretty cinematic. Alright, so let's just go over the battle real quick. She basically is very, very fast, high agility, you know. She's very agile. Her HP is not too high. She got 46,000, give or take. No, that's not like the exact number, but that's just around that, 46,000 something. If you wanted to round it off, it'd be like 47,000. But it's 46,000 and change. She's got regular damage source, pretty much resistant to almost everything. Every status element that you could think of except for frozen and stop. She can be inflicted with stop, but don't bother exploiting it. You could try, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you have protection for it. Frozen, however, is basically the same thing as stop. If, you know, I guess a little different, but is kind of the same thing. But yeah, frozen is good. Oddly enough, she is also immune to burnt and shock. So exploit that with blizzard magic if you want to. And also MTs are weak to ice. That's another good thing to point out. She will have in company with her a shitload of Imperial MTs, so that's something to make sure you have crowd control using Star Shell or Gravisphere. I would recommend Star Shell. And of course, again, because of her speed and because of all the accompanying MTs, you're going to want to rely on her high wind attack, because, you know, she's fast, and you're not going to want to use a greatsword. Screw that. Use Impulse to take care of all the MTs surrounding Aranea, including Aranea, although it might not do much damage to her. Again, she has very high resistance to almost everything other than Noctis's weapons. You'll see what I mean. She doesn't really take a lot of damage other than Noctis, like most major bosses. And she's immune to light, which means Star Shell will not affect her at all, believe it or not. But it will affect the MTs. If you have Gravity Well equipped as a machine, though, it's pretty good, because then you don't actually have to really equip Gravisphere, because Gravity Well is basically the same thing as Gravisphere, which is a fun little fact. It just doesn't crit, but it is the same thing, really, which is really awesome. Like, really fucking cool. Same thing with some other things too, like circular swords, kind of almost like recoil. It's very similar anyway. I wouldn't say exactly the same, but they're similar. But Gravisphere is pretty wild, because the Gravity Well is basically the air anchor from Final Fantasy VI. Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. You're dealing with a very high evasive, big-breasted, you know, gorgeous dragoon. Now, even with those, you know, wildly huge hooters, she is very, very fast on her feet, and she can jump high up in the air. So you're gonna have to make sure you utilize warp strike points, or else you will fall into stasis, and as we all know, stasis sucks. Just utilize the warp strike points and Star Shell, regroup, the shit like that, and then you'll be good to go. You just want to focus on crowd control mainly, so that Noctis can pay attention to fighting Aranea, and therefore you won't have to worry about MTs as much. You want to focus mainly on Aranea. So therefore, Impulse, you should grab. Star Shell, Impulse for damage, Star Shell for control, regroup for formation and protection. And that's it. And that's the fight. Ready or not, here she comes. And here's to hoping that I don't freeze. So I really don't want to freeze. I don't want to freeze. Hey, pretty boy. Da 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 da. Okay. Hey, pretty boy. All right, here we go.
Let's see what you can do.
This is a wild fight. Ooh, sweet. Oh, I'm gonna go chain to fuck her up quick, because that'll actually work. Oh no, I'm using a great sword. I shouldn't have been doing that. Okay, this is where the fun begins. Okay. What just happened? Wow. Regroup. Yeah, we got her. Regroup. Oh. Blindside Link, nice, because of Frozen. That's right. Oh. No way. Star Shell. Oh, she hasn't even gone up yet because of the Frozen state. Oh, what? Yes! No doubt. I didn't even get her. What? I did a good job. I fucking owned her. I didn't even have to get her into the sky.
What time?
Wow.
Quitting time.
I owned
Sorry,
you, girl.
But this girl doesn't work after hours.
I
I
owned
could,
her,
but there
bro.
wouldn't be a single gill in it for me.
Wow.
Aw, we should play again sometime.
That was
Pretty
great.
boy.
I've never did that before. Owned her like that. That was... Wow.
How was she?
She didn't even get a chance to really even get to do aerial combat with me. That's how bad I fucking kicked her ass.
I imagine she's fine.
But we shouldn't keep her waiting.
Ah. Oh man. It's just weird though, the one thing that she is weak to is Frozen. And again, you don't really need to exploit her with Stop, because Frozen will do it. And it'll also be able to get blind. I was surprised I got a blindsided Link. 2 of them. I was like, what? And then I just realized, I was like, it's because of the Frozen state. Frozen state was what got me to do it. Because Frozen basically is like equivalent to slow, I guess. It slows you down. Unless you use like Blizzaga, that's really...
Did you kick their asses?
If you use Freeze, that's different.
All in a day's work.
Hey, mind if I hang in your guys' room for a bit?
Anyway, that was really good. I don't know if I'm gonna get a good photo or not. I got a really good photo once of combat with her jugs just hanging out, and she was just fighting. She had like a smile on her face with her spear, and she was like bending over, but kind of like in a pose with a spear. It was really cool. And you saw like her jugs in the armor. I just mention it because it's like a part of her character, those 2 big, beautiful white jugs. They're like 2 watermelons. And then green eyes. She got like these green eyes, pointed nose, 2 round milk jugs, or milk duds, and awesome set of gear, and a tight body with the silver hair.
Nice shot, Pronto.
I really hope. I'm hoping. Okay. Okay, well, we got a tit shot at least.
Aranea, huh?
Not as good as the shot I got. I got a really nice shot once. Like I said, it was like that. It was just like that, where tits hanging out, but I got the face. But still nice though. It's kind of ironic. It's just like a picture of tits. Look, I got a picture of tits, guys. Hey, you want to see my picture of Aranea? It's Noctis, and I'm fighting boobs. Look, it's the boss fight boobs. Level 26, the third boss fight of the game. Boobs. Or the tits in the dress. I mean, basically, that's what that picture indicates. I'm fighting breasts. I'm fighting the tits. I'm fighting boobs. And Aranea is all tit. We all know that. I mean, look, even in that photo, you could see tits. It's like 3 heads. A head and 2 more heads. One's Humpty, one's Dumpty. And then, well, obviously the other one's her head. Alright, so that's a really nice photo. I'll definitely keep this big, nice, amazing tit shot of Aranea, which just specifically narrows in right on her tits. And I'll probably put it right onto I'll put it on Luna Freya's wedding in the Dreamland at the end of the game. I'll use that photo as my signature photo. Picture of tits. Me battling tits. What do you think of that? That's just hilarious though, because that means Prompto just took a shot of her tits. I guess it's hard not to when you're basically the upper part of your body is all breast. I mean, look at Iris. And she's just normal. But look at that. All tit. All tit. Jeez. Even on the side. Look at that. It's the size of Ignis's head. It's blocking his head. She is titties all over. But I got a good photo of her. A couple of good photos, actually. So let's start saving. I always liked Aranea, though. She's nice. Even though... because we haven't had a character like her since Tifa. She kind of like a throwback. You know, character with massive tits. And that's true, yeah, we haven't had one since Final Fantasy. She's like Tifa and Lightning combined. If Tifa and Lightning could possibly have a love child, then you'd get Aranea. Get all the best traits from Lightning and get the best traits from Tifa. Put them into one and make Aranea. What was my last photo anyway? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll save this one. What the hell is that? And I took a lot of good photos though. Can't keep all of them though. Which one's better? I'll get this one, I guess, because I like the color and it's nice, whatever. It's blurry. An area shot. What the fuck is he doing there? I don't even know what he's doing. Should I get an area shot or no? I kinda like area shots. It's not bad actually. He's using his daggers fighting an MA. I'll try to save as many as I can. I'm not gonna save that one, that sucks. I'm gonna save that one, that one's dope. With the Noctis and the Greysword. And the broken down machine. I try to put a story together, but it's not easy. Definitely gonna save that tit pic. Cause that's a keeper, man. Definitely a keeper. Oh, wow. A lot of these photos are good. So I'm gonna have to delete some photos. Should have allowed you to save 500 photos, but they didn't. So, what are you gonna do? I'll have to get rid of this one. This doesn't make sense. I'm already on the road here, and I was just like, you know. I like that photo. Look again, Deanna chilling out. That's pretty cool. That's a cool picture. Let's see. That's the only coral picture we have right now. I'm hoping that later we'll get a better coral picture. The Kujata. Gentiana and the Kujata, which is a weird one, because it just basically is just Gentiana there. You could see Noctis a little bit, but really it's Gentiana standing right in front of a Kujata. That's pretty dope. I'm gonna get rid of this one because I'm not gonna keep. I already have the other two. This one was good, so it's fine. I have a few other ones too. I don't need a million of them. This was an awesome picture. I've never gotten it before. A picture of the actual runestone, the final runestone. It's like getting a picture of the Glacian. I wish you could get a picture of the Glacian, but you can't. Because this technically is a picture of Rama. The final runestone. Or this one I used to think was the picture, but I didn't know you were able to actually get that. Let's see what else. I want to get rid of some shit. I don't really need that. I gotta get rid of this. Yeah, get rid of that shit. I'm gonna make some room, so I've always been arguing to I don't really know. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of this one. I can get a better one now. Navith. Navith. I've made my mind. I'm getting rid of this one. I'm keeping the other one. I just like this one. I don't know why. Cactars. Arden. Alright, so a Midgar's Omer and Midgar's Omer. Flans. It's gotta be Flans. Fuck it, I'm gonna get rid of this picture. Nah, I don't have to yet. I really don't, actually. What the hell is he fighting? I don't even know what that is. He looks like he's casting a fire spell. We just took an area shot. Too close together. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of these two. See what you will, but I'm gonna get rid of them. Fuck it. It makes some room, and I'm in good shape. Look at this. Prompto's been fascinated with tits lately. I noticed. Look at that. See, I was like an awesome shot of Viv because of the tits in the background. Tit shot. But I'm serious, he'd been really tit obsessed. And Gladio obsessed too early in the game. I don't know why. It's like, what's the deal with that? Can you spot the carbuncle in this picture? There is one. It's there. It's an I spy. Can you spy the carbuncle with your little eye? It's right there in the pillar behind him. Just floating. See it? Carbuncle. Yep. He appears in pictures I can't even see him sometimes. Then I look back later and I'm like, oh shit, he's been there all along. I think we're good so far, right? I mean, yeah. Let's try to save some photos now. We'll be in good shape. I bet you will get to all these good photos. Titty photos and ass and tit photos. Save this photo, definitely. That's a good one. It shows how I fucking beat her ass. And there's an ass shot too, by the way. See that? And Ignis is getting hit in the face with her big tit. That's what it looks like. Not bad. And we got Eurus. That's an always picture. And we are good to go. At this point, we can use Eurus.
Good morning.
Hi.
I'll keep the video going until the broadcast, until we get to, I guess, until the next chapter. Might as well finish it up.